One of the things I enjoy offering is a money manifestation program for people who've completed a soul retrieval with me. As part of this program, I do shamanic journeys every month, and the journey report from this particular journey was one that I particularly liked and thought that there might be value for other people in the way the guides approach supporting us. So I'll be speaking directly to that group of people with messages from the guides and regarding energetic interventions that I performed as part of the shamanic journey work that's included in the program. But I wanted to share this in case it has value for you in thinking about money in a way that's supportive for easier and more graceful manifestation. Please note this is informal and unedited. So I did our money journey, and for this one I just really wanted to go in and do some deep support for the sacral chakra in its own right, knowing that when this chakra is really vibrant and doing well, that can really infuse a lot of things related to money in a really positive way. So one of the challenges is I think that a lot of spiritually inclined people just don't have as much affinity for money. I think that they're people who just find it really fun to win at the game of money. You know, I've talked to people who are like, oh, I do the stock trading and I've learned so much about it. And oftentimes it's not having the results that they imagine it will, but that's a whole other conversation for another time. I'm sure there are people who are magnificently good at it as well. But I do think that, you know, one of the things, completely random example, but here's how my guides roll. I was doing a tour of rescue birds in Alaska. So they had a number of bald eagles, they had owls, and these were all animals that couldn't survive on their own. And some of them they use as ambassador animals, and they were talking about whether they were having them participate in certain ways. And they're like, well, you know, it's all positive reward. So it kind of depends how food motivated the bird is. And if it's not that food motivated, it's not worth it for, you know, the treat to do the, you know, the thing to fly over to us or whatever. We just don't ask them to do it. They just, you know, are like, we will just be your human servants, which was kind of an adorable way to put it. But, you know, we can look around at animals, and some animals are like incredibly food motivated, and other animals are like, yeah, you know, whatever, I'll take a memo and get back to you. It depends what else I'm up to. And so similarly, when it comes to money, they're humans who are like, oh, I'm winning at money. This is so great. That's really compelling. And I find that kind of with my more spiritually inclined people, they might kind of like to win at the, you know, the money thing, but it may not be as compelling or as exciting. And so part of what we want to intend is having this kind of passion or connection and some vibrant energy flow into the area of money as a deliberate sort of practice so that we're juicing it up. Because where we put our attention, what we're passionate about, there's a lot of things that sort of move really naturally. And it doesn't mean that we have to cultivate trying to, you know, feel this excitement in our belly about money, but it's just kind of a note. You know, a lot of times the thought of money induces tension and stress and, you know, a lot of, you know, kind of not very balanced emotions. And if there were just like a warm friendliness of like, yeah, money, you're cool, thanks for hanging, that could be really supportive. So for this though, I was really working on supporting our sacral chakra. So I started off with just kind of bringing you back to your strength and power and the sort of deep resilience. So a lot of us have things that are on our mind. They're, you know, just different things that we're navigating at different times. There can be family stuff. You know, I was at a party with some friends. Apparently this is going to be a high level digression kind of recording, but there we are. As some of you may know, I talked about it in one of my podcasts, but, you know, I don't know how much I talked about it overall. my mom went through cancer treatment. She, was diagnosed in late May, and then we had the absolutely marvelous news that she was cancer-free on the 1st of October. And so there was this really complicated season. And I was recently at a party with a number of friends, and one of the people that I've, known for just a really long time, I actually got to officiate his wedding. Was there, and he just kind of popped in, and his father had passed really unexpectedly, and so he was navigating that. And a lot of the people, as we talked about, like, oh my goodness, this is hard, we're saying, oh, I know this person and that person. And it was just interesting because I had just been in a season of my parents' well-being really being on my mind and heart, and the relief of not having any of that in my immediate field at this exact moment. And we all get turns with that. So none of what I'm about to say is meant to make light of the real genuine complexities, the complexity of inflation and all the wackiness, health problems, all the things that we deal with. However, I think it's useful to go back to the kind of bare bones that humans are very, very resilient by design, that they're just the capacity of what humans have historically survived and still managed to keep babies alive. And that's our total legacy across so many generations. And this kind of notion that at our core we have this legacy, this birthright of creativity and resilience and resourcefulness. And I'm a big fan of having, like, lots of resilience and using as little of it as possible. It's kind of like credit cards. It's great to have really big lines of credit and use as little as possible. I want to have, this incredible capacity for resilience and have a life that doesn't cause me to tap into it. And that's a whole nother digression that I won't go into at this moment. But coming back to the sacral chakra, just really supporting it in sort of coming home to its innate truth of being this massive, potent power center that is the juice that goes behind right action, that has a deep well of ability to draw energy from the earth and from all of our inspiration pouring down into passion and fire in the belly. And personally, I've been having just a really vibrantly creative time, which I've been really enjoying. It's kind of like, some people are like, oh, I can't wait for, this play or this experience. I'm like, I can't wait to get back to my computer and, create this new video content and my new travel podcast. And there's just a lot that's brewing, and it kind of cracks me up that, like, the fun thing is to go get into flow state and learn new things and create new things. But I'm really writing it because, I think it's really useful. But that vitality and that fire in the belly, I think is really important. So I think that we're in a time where a lot of people are having a lot of low-level fear and anxiety. I think we're kind of biologically hardwired for that to start with. And the current things that are going on in the world, not that there aren't always things going on in the world, but there's just a lot of activation. And so kind of unplugging from that and coming back to your core essential truth of your own fire in the belly and power and the gift of life and what it means to, to be here. And it's sort of pulling the sacral chakra into better alignment, where it's not just firing like crazy around anxiety and, oh no, and instinct activation. So kind of bringing it back into service for the other things it gets up to. And then a clearing on old stale emotionality. So a lot of times we have, emotions that build up. We just don't live in a society that has us do a good job of dealing with emotions. And we have just, there's so much that we could do to distract ourselves. There's, frankly, a lot of money in helping people temporarily distract themselves so they don't feel their feelings. And this could be TikTok, or this could be alcohol. I'm not bashing on anything. I'm just saying that like our capacity to distract ourselves and numb out and what's available for that is really huge. And so it's very easy to take on emotional debt and not have that area really cleaned out. So just going in and working with any old, stuck, stagnant emotionality so that you're able to have a freshness and aliveness, and also really amplifying and supporting creativity and passion and your life wish. The guides, kind of brought this primal earth magic in if there's any way that this has gotten depleted, if the fire of your life wish is burning a little low. Doing my $25 healing on the life wish specifically on Thursday. I know some of you are already signed up for that. But just, working with all of these things that really support the vitality and well-being of the sacral chakra. And then just reminding it that juice and that magic and that power can really, go into the world of money and really create some vibrant results. So one of the things that's really interesting, I think, shamanism can be a really great tool to bring ourselves into alignment, and then the world is inclined to organize around us in a really aligned way. And so that's one of the principles of ways of working with money. Obviously, I don't advocate it as the only principle. I know that, sometimes people are like, no, I just want to work on my mindset. And I'm like, you probably should find a pathway where you could take right action where someone will give you money. I know we're all in different circumstances, so that can apply in different ways. And, it's very nuanced to individual situations. But I do think that kind of in the background, this really vital, potent energy that the sacral chakra can move when it doesn't get suppressed by unprocessed emotions or pulled into instinct activation, and it's more the full spectrum in a really vibrant, alive kind of way. That is super supportive for our money outcomes. So that was what I worked with today, and I hope that it's super supportive for you.